and whatnot. But okay, I know that we have a full agenda as always, and we're starting late, and LinkUs is here, so we want to welcome. And Jay, is Jay on?
No, Jay is still in training.
Okay. Then Will, could you introduce him, please?
Zach, from what I know of you, you're quite a guy. You have worked for Coda for how many years is it now?
A little more than 7 now.
A little more than 7. All right. Well, that's outstanding. And Zach is an expert on something that I've been seeing ads about on the internet, on TV, from some of our members here. But I want to get, and we want to get the truth. We want to get the total inside scoop from somebody who didn't start a Coda last week, but who's been around a little bit and knows the ins and outs. So Zach, could you tell us what you know about LinkUs and why we should be excited about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Am I able to share the screen?
Yeah, I will share. I will enable you right away. Hold on. Here's Brian. Let me see. Okay. Brian's, I was going to tell him, let's see, people here. Give me 1 sec. Okay, here we go.
Zach, can you also give us just a little background about your role at Coda?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Zach Sarnland. Thanks for the introduction. I've been at Coda for a little bit more than 7 years now. I'm project manager in our service planning department, and specifically project manager on some of our LinkUs corridors, which I'll get into in my slides. And most specifically to the the Franklin Park Civic Association is the East Main Street corridor. So I have a couple of slides talking about that corridor. Yeah, still working on the sharing the screen.
I made you a co-host, so you should just, do you see the share screen button at the bottom of your screen, or are you on the phone?
Yeah, when I press it, it says host disabled the participant screen sharing.
No. Hold on, let me see that. Well, I'm just gonna make you the host and see what that happens.
Uh-oh. All right, yeah. Yep, that'll work.
Okay.
All right, can everybody see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So again, my name is Zach Sunderland, friend of Jay. We both went to the University of Cincinnati, so I'm glad he invited me out this evening. I know he's not available. I was a little bummed. I wanted to, I was going to brag to you guys that you guys have the best meeting space at the Franklin Park there. My civic association in Southern Orchards, we just meet at the library or wherever we can, really. So maybe next time. But I'm also joined by Donna Marbury. So she's our lead in our engagement, a consultant with Warhol and Wall Street. And then Andrew Nutzling too. I know he was going to be in person as well, so he might be joining later. He is a planner at Coda, working with me. So I'll just provide a quick update. I understand there's a short amount of time, so hopefully 10 minutes, and then we can open up the questions afterwards. And if there's something that questions that come out after and you can't remember it during this time, feel free to reach out to Donna and myself, and we can certainly follow up with you and make sure all your questions are answered and input is gathered. So as before I get started to talk specifically about the East Main Street corridor, I wanted to talk about the LinkUs initiative and how it really came about. So back in 2014, MORPC, which is the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, looked at our region to see that 1 million more people are going to be moving here by the year 2050. And then Coda conducted a next gen vision plan in 2017, which really looked at our current service offerings in 2017 and really looked at what could help serve this this region by the year 2050. So it looked at new fixed route lines, service improvements, and most importantly to the LinkUs initiative, it identified 14 different corridors that are warranted for additional investment in transit. And one of those corridors being the East Main Street corridor. And then in 2050 or in 2019, MORPC took the information about the amount of growth that was going to be moving here in the year 2050. And I will say we are well on our way to that 1 million more people from 2010 to 2050. And really wanted to look at how we would grow as a region. You know, would we grow further and further out into other counties, and kind of, you know, sprawl as we have in the last several decades, or we focus that growth along key corridors and combining, you know, our transit and mobility investments with the growth patterns in really a way that our region hasn't planned for before. And there are 5 corridors in that study, one of them being East Main Street as well. So again, East Main Street continue to be a corridor of study and you know, a common need for additional investment in transit. And then in 2020, the LinkUs initiative formed. So really it's a partnership between CODA, the city of Columbus, MORPC, and Franklin County.
Excuse me 1 second, Zach. Since I made you the host, do you see?
Do I need to accept people in?
Yes, yeah, admit all if you would.
Okay.
Because I can't see them on my screen anymore.
Is there like a waiting room?
Yeah, it's at the very top. There's a participant icon, should be at the bottom of your screen with the 8 by it. And when you open that, it has a list of who's on. And then above that, it should show who's in the waiting room. You don't see it?
No. Don't need to pass back the.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, make me the host again. Okay. Franklin Park. I think that's who I am. Yep.
Oh, how about that work? Co-host?
Let's see.
Or do you have to be the
I can't see the waiting room now. It says co-host, but
I came in and it said someone, you know, would let me in, and then I got in, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
Okay.
Okay. Hopefully the people did. Okay, hold tight. Here's Julia Lamb. All right. I'm going to give it back to you. I'm going to try first as co-host.
Yeah.
We didn't miss anything.
Okay, can you share your screen now?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right, we're rolling.
All right. Okay, so yeah, the LinkUs initiative formed partnership between CODA, the city of Columbus, Franklin County, and MORPC. And, you know, going back to that Insight 2050 plan of looking at 1 million more people by the year 2050. So going from 2 million to 3 million in a matter of 4 decades. And I will admit this is before the Intel announcement that I know it's going to be a big driver in that population growth as well. And so I know MORPC is will be recalculating that number in the very near future on their long-term planning processes. But really, this is about capturing you know, historic federal investments in transit. So right now, there is the IIJA grant, which has a lot of investment out, or a lot of grant dollars are available, and really this is about setting ourselves up locally so we can latch onto those opportunities. So it's about addressing 21st century challenges that we have today, and challenges that we know will be even more a focus with that additional growth. Focusing on equity, innovation, economic development, workforce advancement, affordability, and sustainability. And to summarize, it's really just combining those mobility investments in the transit with the growth patterns, creating more compact and walkable development in neighborhoods, and increasing opportunities for everyone in our region. And so on the LinkUs website, the link is there, and we'll share it again at the end. There's a community action plan, which came out a couple months ago. It resulted in its report really comprised of a leadership coalition that was formed, consisting of leadership from City of Columbus, MORPC, Franklin County, and CODA, as well as several business owners, CEOs, social service leaders in the community. And really what it looked at is, right now CODA is funded with a 0.5 cent sales tax. And it looked at, increasing that to another 0.5 cent, so 1% sales tax. Right now, there's no timeline for this to go to the ballot, but as part of this, the LinkUs initiative, in order to have this additional investment in transit, that's the blueprint that is outlined. And so I'll refer you to that document's online, the community action plan, which really outlines that in a much more concise way, or a much elaborate way than what I can cover right now. So focusing specifically on the LinkUs corridors. So right now there's 3 corridors that are in implementation. So one being the Northwest corridor, one being West Broad, and then the East Main Street corridor, which obviously touches the Franklin Park area. And then there's also other corridors, potential corridors in the future that could be under study and implementation. So really what we're looking at for these corridors is something that we don't have in Central Ohio today. So really looking to build above and beyond our current service offerings. So looking at some of our peers, and Cleveland, they have their Health Line, which is a bus rapid transit project that began in 2007. And then Indianapolis is also rolling out a system of rapid transit. It also has other lines. So those are our closest peers, but also all around the country, including Minneapolis, Seattle, Austin, are all looking at additional investments in providing premier transit. So as part of these projects, CODA rolled out our CMAX line in 2019, and really we're looking to build upon that. So some of these elements here that you can see on the screen, one of those biggest elements is the dedicated arriveway. So securing transit lanes. So, the line 2 and all the other lines, or the lines that would operate along this corridor, the East Main Street corridor, would not get caught in traffic, and have that so that it improves the travel times and also increases that reliability for those using transit. Also working with the signals. So, when a transit vehicle is approaching an intersection with 40, 50 people in it, it gets punched through the intersection instead of waiting at the stoplight for long periods of time. Other elements include level and multi-door boarding. So right now, when you board the bus, if there's a wheelchair, there's a ramp that is deployed. And with this, we're looking to have the platforms at the stations be just level, so people with wheelchairs can just roll right on, and people with bicycles can roll their bicycles right on and store those on the vehicles themselves. So the vehicles, right now, our largest vehicle in our fleet is 40 feet, and we're really looking at larger vehicles, so 60 feet, called articulated buses, which you may have seen in other cities. It has that bendy part in the middle, really just increasing that capacity and having more space for those bikes and for those wheelchairs, and really for everybody. And then enhanced stations. So right now we have, our lines, a bus would stop every other block or so, depending if there's someone there at the stop. Sometimes there's a bus stop, or there's a bus stop pulled all those stops. Sometimes there's a shelter and a trash can if the ridership is warranted, but really a part of this project is looking at enhanced stations. So having that canopy for protection from the elements, that platform, that level platform with the vehicles, just having a safe waiting environment, and really creating places where people are proud that this is a part of their neighborhoods and part of their region, and they want to use it, obviously. So now specifically looking at the East Main Street corridor, so this is a 13.6 mile stretch. This corridor is not only within the city of Columbus, but also the city of Bexley, city of Whitehall, and the city of Reynoldsburg. So obviously a very diverse stretch, not only in the people that are on the corridor, but also the corridor makeup itself. Obviously presenting some challenges with right-of-way availability, but really looking at, majority of this corridor having that dedicated lane to improve those travel times for those using transit. So this is similar to what the Line 2 operates along the East Main stretch, so connecting Reynoldsburg to downtown, primarily along East Main Street. And then zooming in specifically to the Franklin Park area, the red line on the map in the middle is that's East Main Street. So right now we have our Line 2, which is frequent service. It's one of our highest ridership corridors. So this is where the East Main Street BRT would operate. And the white dots represent current bus stops. So as you can see there, every other block, generally 500 to 1,000 feet apart. With this, we would look at the stations with the larger circles. So on the west, on the left side here of the map, that'll be 18th, and then Champion Avenue, Kelton, and then Alum Creek, and then Drexel in the city of Bexley. So those are our nearest stations in this area. And of course, looking at those connections with the line 11 at Alum Creek and Nelson, and then the line 22 at Ohio and Champion. So when we cited these stations, we really wanted to look at the areas that had the most ridership and really represented the best areas to put these stations. And then zooming in, so this is just a sneak peek into some of the design work that we're going into. So this is the intersection at Main and Kelton. And really, so on the left, you can see what it looks like today with the 2 bus stops on the curbside there. And then on the bottom right, you can see what this could look like as this project progresses, with the center median being dedicated to transit vehicles. And then on the right of the intersection, or the east, you can see where that station would go. So that station footprint is just much more larger than a typical bus stop, shelter, and bus stop sign that we have today. And obviously, we'd be looking to have that transit signal priority, so the vehicles can get punched through the intersection when they are there. So right now, we've completed a 15% design back in May, and then we're headed towards 30% in the first quarter of next year. So these are just some of the tasks that currently are under my purview. The one I want to draw attention to is the stakeholder and public engagement. So we're really ramping this back up. We took a little pause the last couple months. We were pretty heavy in the earlier part of this year, but we'll be looking to go back out in a more open way in 2023. But meetings like this are very important to get the word out and to seek input, answer questions about these projects. So if you have any other groups that would want a presentation or anything, please let us know, and we'll look to make that happen. So real quickly, some of the milestones that we have completed. So like I said, right now we are at 15%, headed towards 30% in the first part of next year. And then these are just some of our milestones that happened earlier before that.
That's great. Are we at a point where we can pause for a couple of questions?
Yeah.
Agenda today, we're getting a little.
Yeah, so we can just open up the questions. Sorry, I went a little over. I will refer you to the website, and it has a lot of information. And of course, we have Don on the call as well that can talk about engagement as well. So we can answer any questions that you may have.
If you have a question, please unmute and state your question. Is Brian still on?
Yes. Yes. Brian is here with me.
Okay, good.
Brian.
Hi, so I have a question. So I saw the timeline, like where we're at so far. What is the the goal date for for this to be live? Like what's that estimated date, and what does the time frame look like?
Yeah, so these are long projects. Working with the Federal Transit Administration, there's a grant program called the Capital Investment Grant Program where we can receive a lot of funding for this. So right now, this is our current trajectory. So we started back in 2021. We're currently in the design phase. Once the design phase is complete and we go through our environmental work, construction would begin. And obviously, there's utility relocation that would need to occur. So trying to bake that into the construction timeline. We're hopeful that this project and then also West Broad Street would begin service in 2027, 2028 timeframe.
Okay. And during the design phase, is there I see the design phase will end at the end of 2024. Is there any time at that point for community members to give feedback and thoughts on the design, or have suggestions, like if there's any way to put branded, Franklin Park neighborhood on the south of our neighborhood, those sorts of things?
Absolutely. So yeah, we didn't really get through the engagement much, but we are so like throughout the entire process, we have a entry page on our website where you can submit any comment at any time. Really, there's tons of documents on there. But that aside, we did some station design sessions earlier this year, and one of the things we heard is having some type of graphic that each of these stations could have. So a lot of the communities wanted to kind of put their own graphic, whether that's public art or some type of picture that represents that the community would be proud of. So kind of a sneak peek, we'll eventually have a station, a design reveal, and really that's some of the input that we wanted to receive. There's I think 19 stations along East Main Street. So we really want to, while the stations will look the same, there's still an opportunity to have what the community wants to see at each one of these. But yeah, Donna, do you have anything to add in terms of the engagement? I know that we're constantly re-strategizing. We started this during COVID, so a couple months ago we started getting more in person. So always trying to find out the best way to get input on these projects.
Yeah, I would add to that. I think you're definitely spot on in making each of these stations feel like a part of the community. There's a lot that goes into station design. Like sometimes you see like in other cities or see online or even in other countries, these very like built out stations. But Zach can probably can echo this too. The stations have to be very like transparent. They can't block, obviously, pedestrians, drivers, businesses. So we've put a lot of care into making sure that the stations will look nice in the community, but also don't get in the way of the aesthetic of the community. So we are going to definitely keep you all in mind when we begin to get some images and some visuals around what those stations may look like. And what, like Zach said, in the engagements we've had in the past couple of months, we definitely hear from people really great stories about their community. So obviously there's a lot of history in the Franklin Park community. And any way that we can highlight that. And, when you're walking up to a station, it feels like a part of the community. We want to do that for sure.
Well, we will definitely look forward to making that input both through the written process and at the future forums that you have. Any last questions before we continue with our agenda?
This is Miriam. I have a quick question. I love that you're incorporating the stations to be kind of representative of the community in which they existed. Wanted to know if you're reaching out to any councils or commissions that have people with disabilities on them when designing those stations, that they incorporate more universal design, whether it's making it accessible for people who are blind or even others that speak different languages so that there's access to communication. Just wanted to see what your follow-up was with that.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say from a City of Columbus CODA priority, as well as the FTA funding priority, we have to, reach out to differently abled people. Obviously, we all know that Columbus is growing and very diverse. So we've had meetings with people. I mean, we've met and touched probably, my numbers say like 10,000 people in the past year, just having conversations about all of the different elements of not only the station, but the rapid transit design that would help them to use it in more frequently and it to be a quality service. So yes, absolutely. A lot of our outreach materials are in multiple languages, as well as our website is translated in Somali and Spanish. So as the spring rolls around and we get back out in the streets, you'll certainly see more of those translated materials and our conversations with everyone in the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, both Zach and Donna. And did Adam make it back? Did he get on? Okay, he was over in the park. He was trying. But I know I personally found this very informative, and will definitely share with other organizations that they should get this presentation as well. We will definitely put it on our webpage as we do all of our monthly meetings, but we'll definitely encourage people to check this out, because it will definitely make a difference for the community. Okay, so sorry about all the confusion at the beginning, but we managed and we appreciate it. Yes,
Great.
and
Right.
feel free, of
Thanks for
course,
having us.
yeah, to stay in touch with us. Come back anytime. You're welcome, you know,
Absolutely.
to join us. We're the last Tuesday of the month. Okay, all right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Take care now. Is Al Edmondson online?
He's in class. He'll be joining us at 7:30. But I
Okay.
do want to indicate that we have our membership committee chair, Beth Corder, on the line from New York City.
I'm telling you.
She's
Hey,
really-
I was on the line from Atlanta last week. You know, we travel, but we know our responsibilities. Okay, I'm going to turn over to Brian and see if there's anything with the minutes. Yes, there.
Amen.
Good. Take this off. All right. The minutes are posted. From September. Does anyone have any questions, complaints, concerns?
Compliments to the writer.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell him when he gets home.
So the motion to accept the minutes?
I move that the minutes be accepted.
Okay, who's the second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you very much. They will be posted and become a part of our official record. Treasury report.
Yes, let me give you a little rat, cat, dog explanation of where we are. We still have over $4,000 in our treasury. We had a couple of recurring expenses. We had one new membership, bringing our total to 90. At our last executive committee, that group approved the expenditure of up to $150 to help local groups who are doing Halloween events. Thus far, we were able to make one contribution to Central Community House, and we haven't received any others as yet. In terms of Central Community House, we've also reached out to them to ask them to be a fiscal sponsor if we happen to go out and receive money that has to be given to a 501c3. They're going to get back to us after they finish their audit. But the other part of that equation is IRS, and I called them and they said, call back in November, at which they think they may have gotten to our application, which was accepted by them on May 6th. But that's all I have for today.
Okay, fine. Any questions for the treasurer? All right, so we'll accept his report for audit. Moving on to the committee reports. We've had a number of discussions over the past month about 2023 and the kinds of work, objectives, activities, etc. And each committee has met, had a fair amount of discussion, looked specifically at the 4 pillars that we have under our bylaws, and come up with some suggested ideas. So we have a committee report out then, activities, and okay, Beth, let's start with Beth in case we get cut off from New York.
Hello.
Hey there.
Well, as far as a report, this is my first, just taking it over, and I look forward to working with Nick, Lori, and Will, and anybody else who wants to send suggestions. my way. Looking forward just to continuing on. Oh, hello, I have a friend. Seeing how we can do with membership, increasing the membership. I know we've got thank you letters, and welcome letters, and guides, which I think is great. I feel like I'm taking this over at a point where there's been a lot of work, and I'm really excited for the huge base of knowledge and work that has been done, and I'm happy to take it forward.
Good, great, thank you. Questions for Beth? Comments?
Beth, I understand that in a group organization sense, you led us into the birth of a great new initiative, which is our membership survey. Can you talk just a few words about that membership survey?
Sure. So I think the survey is important just in trying to figure out what is going to bring new people to the committee, even if they don't want to come to the monthly meetings every time. What are they willing to do? What are they excited about in our community? What will bring them, if not to certain events, maybe coming to the monthly meeting, what they want to see, because I feel like that's what it's all about, is figuring out all the voices of what everybody wants to see.
Now, I think in the past hour, we've had a 100% increase in the surveys that have been completed. Now, let's see if we can do that to the end of the week, have a 100% increase every 24 hours. And I know that, you know, it's been posted, but it really is about reaching out to people and asking them to complete it, because there are a number of questions that help us to know not only membership, but other activities connected to the organization. So it really helps to give us a good idea of what people want to do and what role they're willing to play, as Beth said, you know, whether you come to the meeting or not, or once off, but please, everybody can do something. And if everybody does something, then we'll get everything done.
Many hands lighten the load.
Any other questions or comments for Beth? Okay. Activities and events. A&E. Tamika, are you on mute?
Yeah,
I was on mute. Sorry, I was sending that. I was texting that survey out to people in my neighborhood.
Thank you for that.
Yes. So please fill out that survey. Can't drive the importance home enough that it's important for us to understand what you want to see, what you want to do, what you want to be involved in. It provides all of the committees input on what you want to do, specifically our committee, the events and activities committee. We want to know what kind of events you want to see, what kind of events you want to attend. And that goes into, that'll help us plan our events for the year and make sure that there are things happening in our community that you actually want to participate in. Going into that, we will continue next year with some of our routine events that we've had. So we will continue with our Saturday walks. They won't be while it's cold. So once spring comes back around, we'll start those walks up again. We'll continue to have our third Thursdays at Adela's. Miriam, I don't know if you want to go into any other events.
We also want to do the two like semi-annual fundraisers, which all, like as Mr. Willis mentioned, many hands lighten the load for all the committees to be involved in. One in the spring, summer, and then again, January, February. So definitely probably going to work on something for this spring, summer, and then kick off something in 2024 and the start of the year. So, and then I think that's, oh, and we were also talking about doing quarterly, based on the survey, setting up quarterly events that focus around the 4 pillars of bringing the community together and giving back and all of these things, and maybe also kind of dropping that membership drive in those things. So that's about it.
Yes. So those quarterly events will be influenced by the results we receive and the feedback we receive from the survey. So again, please fill out that survey.
Good. Thank you. Any other questions for A&E? Public relations.
A&E. I feel like I'm watching public television here.
I know. Hold on.
All right, so we have a new chair, and he's right now sitting next to the president of the Franklin Park Civic Association, mask on his chin. So the FPCA website is the mothership for our PR and marketing efforts. And our monthly events calendar keeps getting updated with events that we put on, as well as neighborhood area events that come to our attention through the mailbox. And the FPCA section of the website has been updated with the mission statement, the committee description, sign up link, and the 2021 annual report narrative, and a photo collage, and some new photos of events and people in our community in the gallery section of the website, which also includes links to our social media sites, including Linktree, which can be accessed through our yard signs and hot cards. And we are still looking for members, especially volunteers that have experience with marketing strategies and campaigns, graphic design expertise, great written and verbal skills, or good IT and multimedia skills. Me and Mr. Willis can't do it all. We really can't. I'm surprised that we do. And we look forward to our activity committee on their upcoming events so we can properly prepare marketing materials in event advertising and fundraising.
Yes, and hopefully, as we get to work in sync, we have advance notice. We'll have a schedule for when the events information should be submitted to public relations so that they can get it out in a timely way. Then the community gets it, and we all work together. So it's really going to be important that we get input from the survey, so we find out what the membership and the community want to do. Then the committees will help put that together and advance notice, work with public relations, and then get it all out. Okay?
Yes.
That's the theory.
Oh yeah, special thanks to Trustee Hector Harris for the recommendation of ample advance notice for activities.
Ample, remember that.
Like about
ample.
30 days.
30 days, okay. Well, what we do, as Miriam said, we sit down and get the calendar. We know that there'll be some things that pop up occasionally.
Yeah.
But our main events, we want to be able to sit down in November, have it marked out, or at least December. By the end of the year, have it all together. But we need your input. So those of you on the call, I know you've done it, but if everybody can reach out and get 5 more people to fill it out, that'd be great. Okay.
And we really appreciate it. It will help us with our planning, so thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions for public relations? Okay, is Kim on? Okay. Yeah, I don't really have the right notes. I know that there was discussion of let me see. Will, do you have those notes from last Tuesday?
On what topic? I think I did.
Kim's report, the health and safety, the police.
Oh, no, I did not. I don't have those. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, we will come back unless, is there someone else, Miriam or Tamika? Do you have those notes, Carol?
She didn't say, I don't think she did a general distribution on those.
No. She reported at the meeting.
I understand.
We only said to 2 of us.
I'm sitting here with the scribe. What am I talking about? Go ahead. What?
She only said it to 2 of us.
Okay, but say here. This is what she said, but I know that she's gonna give some more thought to it.
All right. So here is what Kim said. The suggestions that she had: evaluating and testing the neighborhood water quality,
Right.
inquire about the drop off in the quality, have an official response as to why our processing center is now shouldering the responsibility of the suburban neighborhoods that don't want to build their own processing center, which is overwhelmed and can't be expanded, and looking for recommendations. The next bullet point was establishing a contact list in order to check in on the elders, especially ones that live alone by themselves. The next one was check on the possibility of a gun buyback with our current police liaison for our neighborhood. The next one was establishing routes for the available mental health resources for both our juveniles and adults. And the next one was continuing information on vaccines, stress hand washing, and mask wearing at crowded indoor events. And the final one was working on getting raised beds for the older gardens as the soil condition is completely deteriorated.
Right. Thank you so much, Brian. See, the scribe right there.
Right under your nose, yeah.
The recommendation was that we get more information on the water quality issue and the gun buyback issue. That we thought it would be very doable to have establish a what do you call it? The tree, the link where you keep calling people, each one call phone tree. Thank you. That we have a phone tree for the elders. So if there are people who want to put themselves on such a list, we would make sure that their privacy is respected and they're called under the conditions that they want. So that's something and we would work with. The mental health resources, absolutely. We'll continue to work with various resources. We'll have people come in and speak with us, but also we'll try and make sure that paper material is distributed. Let me say here as well that there is a standing, I call it a plastic envelope in my front yard, right beside the sidewalk. And any information you want to put in that you think should be distributed, please, you're welcome to do so. Right now it has our hot cards, but if we had information, say on the mental health for youth that we want to put out in the public, please feel free to put it in. So as we continue to meet in person, we can make sure that we have certain material available for meetings, but also in addition to our speakers. So all that was doable. And then the vaccine, yes, definitely we'll put things on our website, our Facebook page, again, reminding people, don't take chances. There's still super spreader events out here, et cetera, et cetera. And then with respect to the raised beds, there are a couple of projects within the NEAC area, and we'll look to include the FPCA community gardens so that the specific infrastructure issues can be identified and then perhaps addressed over the winter. So that was, thank you very much, health and safety. Any questions, comments that we want to make note of for Kim? Okay, then development and improvement. Are you standing in for for Jay?
I'll be glad to. Now, Micah doesn't happen to still be here, does she?
No, she went home. Yeah, she went home to get online, but I don't think she made it.
Okay, no worries. So Jay, it was announced last month that Jay Bolts is taking over the development committee. And he's one of those young whippersnappers that still has to go to work and that kind of stuff. And I'm not mad at him, but he was unable to join us tonight. He met with Roy Lowenstein and I to talk about transitioning the committee to his leadership and how we could identify some projects that again meet our mission statement, the 4 pillars of our mission statement. For example, having a workshop on how to use 311, okay, which I've been happen to be working with my neighbor on, because not everybody has a 311 account. They want to ask us, when does recycling get picked up? I say, hey, call 311, you'll get an email every week saying what will be picked up and when. So, there are things of that sort. Jay is also going to meet with all the nearest area commissioners to get a sense of what's on their agenda that may be affecting us. But what Roy and I specifically talk about is developing a platform that would ultimately get approved by the board in this organization in terms of what kind of development we would prefer to see and not to see in this neighborhood. And I'm getting a text here from, okay. So he is moving forward and he's going to give a full update at our November, is it November? November.
November. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really very important. The point about a platform, because what that's saying is that we have done our homework. We understand what the guidelines are. We understand the trends. We understand, you know, some of the stressors. Zach was very interesting there, you know, in talking about growth pressures. We want to be proactive in being able to go to people and say, these are our guidelines based on how we see our community. Let's talk about your project within the context of our guidelines. So I think that that's a very important discussion to have, and just a very mature way to interact with the various developers. Both Roy and Jay have just been exchanging some really interesting emails. And yeah, half of which I'm like, okay, whatever, guys. But they really are trying to get to grips with this whole development question and be able to bring it back to us in a way that makes sense. Okay. Now, having mentioned his name, I noticed that Roy is not online. Is there anyone else who is present who would like to speak on behalf of NEAC? Okay. Okay. Thank you. We're glad you were able to get online. Okay. Bring us back. Let's see. What do I want from New York? I know that cheesecake.
I just put my email in the chat. Go ahead and email.
No. Enjoy. Okay.
Right, bye.
Take care now. We've got the old business was our 2023 planning, and I think I introduced it earlier. The strength of it, I can't stress enough, really comes from the input through these surveys. So please reach out to your folk. Really encourage people to do the surveys. Brian has done one letter. We'll ask him to do another. And you know, and I know that the information was in the context of everything that we've done. But let's send a letter that is only about the survey, and just say, hey, we need you to focus on this. We need you to do it. It takes. It wasn't 5 minutes. It was like 3 minutes for me to do it. And then you know, that really helps us when we have that. Is there anything else that anyone else would like to add on our 2023 objectives?
Hold on 1 second. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Let me get it.
He has us all enthralled.
Yeah, I'm trying to, our other guest speaker had trouble getting on the line, and I'm trying to copy the link to send to him, but it doesn't want to copy off of my calendar.
Okay. I'm gonna keep moving then until something.
Yeah,
okay. Anything on our 2023 objectives? Okay. Is there any new business? Is it random discussion announcements?
I don't have one officially, but yeah, I know it's shocking. It's November, but actually one vote in 2 weeks. But Sean from the Conservatory announced that there's a community garden chili cook-off at the Wells Barn on Sunday, the 13th. I think it's at 1.
Yes, and that's only for the community gardens. I've already told them that they needn't come because I'm going to win it. But if they do happen to come, they get to taste my winning chili. But I think that it would be very important for the gardens to come. We haven't had it. I think we had I know we had. I can't remember the date. Either August. It was August for the farmers market week. We had a meeting at in the Bronzeville market, and then there was another meeting afterwards. So it's really time for us to have a get together and share some of the things that have been happening in our garden. And so with respect to that, I just happened to notice that Richard and Joyce are on the line, Richard and Joyce Harris. So I think it would be opportune at this point, since we don't have any old business or new business.
Al is just joining us.
Okay, well, after Al comes Joyce and Harris, Joyce and Richard, okay? So you can prepare to share something about the last 2 weeks with your place. Okay, so then Will, please introduce Al.
I surely will. Mr.
Welcome,
Edmonds.
Al.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Al.
Oh,
Al started a Cut Above barbershop. What year was that?
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
When you had hair.
Oh, watch out. That is so true. That is so true. 30 years ago. And his aim was to create a community from his nearest area barbershop. He graduated from the East High School in 1987. And after a career in the Army and tours in the Persian Gulf War, he got inducted into the 2016 class of the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame for his community service. He's a loving husband and father of 2 fine young men. He started his own nonprofit, and he is the 2022 Columbus Dispatch Everyday Hero. My hero, Al Edmondson.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing great. We're doing great.
Good. Good. So it's glad to see everybody online. And so I guess I'm here today to talk about some of the things we have coming up. Am I right, Brother Willis? Can you hear me?
Yes, please talk about current and pending activities.
Okay. Well, first of all, just thank y'all for having me on tonight. Just got back from voter registration, not voter registration, but day driver training for the polls. This is like my 3rd election to be able to, check the polls and make sure, getting involved and making sure the voting elections are secure and safe. And so basically, if those that don't know me, I have a barbershop. It's called a Cut Above the Rest. I've been in business for over 30 years, right here on Mount Vernon and 20th. Out of our barbershop, we have launched programs such as the Men's Health and Wellness back in 1995 with blood pressure screenings, African-American men, and making sure that our men in our community were healthy and know their signs of if they're at risk of strokes, in partnerships with Chi Phi and Ohio State College of Nursing. And then after that, we moved to prostate cancer awareness because a lot of customers of mine around those times, they were being diagnosed with prostate cancer. Diabetes and prostate cancers are the #1 and #2 killer of African-American men. And so I began to launch that program to making sure that we create awareness in our community through the barbershops. Again, started in 1996 to current. Right now, I'm working with Dr. Charles Rogers out of Minnesota University on colon cancer within our community. As you know, the guy that played Black Panther, he died at an early age. If he had knew 5 years later that he had colon cancer, he would have probably lived, because what they tell us in our community is that Black men should get their colon checked or the colonoscopy checked when you turn 50. And so as we see, we have to do it a little bit earlier than most people. And so, we're doing studies and focus groups around that currently right now. And of course, just recently received the Everyday Hero Award for community service and outreach throughout to Central Ohio. And then also, I have another hat that I wear. I wear the hat of the Mount Vernon Avenue District Improvement Association. So what my role is with the City of Columbus, I'm a liaison to help small businesses make sure they secure grants and funding to keep their businesses stabilized during the pandemic, and then also help them write grants to continue to promote their businesses in the neighborhood of the King Lincoln District. We have probably over 20 to 30 businesses that are now coming in, and so I'm the person that they all connect with. I make sure that any type of city funding that's available for them, making sure they get the information, and if they need assistance, I'll make sure I help them out in filling out the applications. And so that's hat number 2. Hat number 3, I am the executive director for Making a Difference. And Making a Difference is, I talked earlier about the barbershop initiative that we do with Men's Health. That all falls underneath Making a Difference. We focus on men's health, and we also focus on character development with youth in our community. One of the things we have coming up here, shortly, we have a conference. It's called Bold Brothers Orient Leadership Development Conference, and it'll be held at the Convention Center in the fall. And basically, we focus on these steps right here with our young men in our community. This is our 4th year doing this. With this, we target middle school and high school teenager boys only. We focus on areas of male role models and responsibility, self-image, health and wellness initiatives, communication, conflict without violence, and career and future, community involvement, money management and wealth building, and time management and etiquette. And that's what we're doing the last 3 or 4 years with these young men during COVID. So we was able to secure a few funds to be able to help assist with the program through a couple of sponsors. And then another thing that we have coming up, and I'm doing it through Making a Difference, is we're going to do a toy and hat and glove drive. And what we want to do is we want to reach out to community partners and friends and families to donate hats and gloves, and then buy one toy. You can go to the dollar store, get 5 toys, but we want to be able to bless our children within our community. And it's going to be the first week, well, the week before Christmas. And I wrote the date down earlier, but I'm just, like I said, if you need to know anything about it, if you want to help with the toy drive, or even just drop it off hats and gloves, you can all drop them off over here at the barbershop. I'm here every day, except for Tuesdays and Sundays. And so that's all I have right now. And, of course, we're working on voting initiatives. And so one of the things that we've been doing the last 2 or 3 months, me and the fraternities we created, which is called the Black Men's Collective. And basically what we're doing is we want to get more Black men out to vote in our communities. And we've been successful in holding forums, voter educations, workshops, and then also we've held a rally 2 weeks ago, and then we're working on getting our community to the polls. And it's what's all the Divine Nine is involved, and the Masons are involved. We got even some high school students from Fort Hayes that have been registering people. So I'm so proud of them, because they were able to register at least 25 of their peers, and they're all seniors. And so that makes a difference, and they're educating. And then, oh man, I forgot about this. This Tuesday, this Monday, we're doing a Halloween thing around voter education, conversation with young Black men who are in high school and why they're voting, and what have they been doing to get their peers out to vote. So we really pushing that with them. It'll be on Facebook Live. I think it's at 4 to 6. We're going to do it like a talk show with one of the WVKO promoters. He wants to do something around voting with the young men and why they decided to vote, and just really, try to encourage other people to do the same thing. I will post the link once I get it on Monday. I'll send it out to Brother Willis, and he can share it with the group. Any questions? I can't hear you.
That was pretty amazing, by the way. This is
Right.
This
Yeah,
is
just one question.
Miriam. That was amazing.
I said, how
I'm
many
so
staff
impressed
do you
of all the
have?
things you do.
Right. That was our question. And when do you sleep?
Yeah.
I'm about to go sleep. Actually, I got to do homework after this.
This is Tuesday. This is your day off, or at least the day off from the shop, but not day off from everything else.
Yeah,
I will say that, like Will, I have gotten my my head shaved and a cut above, but also in 2014 and 2015, when I was doing the history tours would take groups through the shop. And Al was very supportive and made himself available to comment and answer questions when they came in to see the mural. So if you've not been in the shop, please go by and check out the mural, if nothing else.
And if
then
you
find out
can't go
something.
by live, Al has a beautiful new website that I just discovered today. I guess it's about 2 years old. That has great pictures. A Cut Above the Rest Barbershop.
Okay, we'll put that in the link. Okay, put that in the link too. Yeah. All right. Other questions or comments for Al?
Don't be shy.
I mentioned you said this was with respect to the Mount Vernon Improvement Association, and I think you said that there were, I want to say like 30 to 40 businesses coming into the area. Could you just speak quickly about what are some of the business coming into the Mount Vernon corridor, or how do you see it changing with respect to businesses coming in?
There's not 30 businesses coming to the area. There are approximately 30 businesses that already exist in the neighborhood. And so basically doing, and then actually on Long Street, and then we just had a business open up over here on across the street from the plaza. It's the Asian
patty shop.
No, the patty shop, and also the hibachi place, Nico's Hibachi. And then we have on Long Street, we have a few new businesses coming up. One is called Waves, and then they have a virtual reality thing where you put it's called Kaleidoscope or Escapes or something like that. Right. They're over there, and then there's some construction going on Long Street, in businesses and buildings with businesses as far as the new attorneys in the neighborhood.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, because
other questions? Go ahead, Al.
I agree, say, but because we have two, me and Annie both work with the small businesses, so basically I try to work with everybody, but her main focus is on Long Street. Right. But just because if she's not around, people always reach out to me for answers or any help they need through the city. Right.
So there's a Long Street Business Improvement Association, and then the Mount Vernon Area Business Improvement Association. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So you got two choices. Other questions, comments?
Now, one of the things we are always trying to find the secret sauce for is what is it that seems to motivate people to come out and volunteer for what are some great causes that you're involved in? What has been the secret to your success in getting other people to volunteer with you?
Right. Well, I think it's basically about building relationships, man. If people know somebody that's really organized and is able to pull people together, it takes time because, like I said, I've been at this for almost 30 years. So I've built some great relationships with organizations and then even small businesses that are outside the community, Capital University, Ohio State University, Franklin University, and then people that they want to come in the neighborhood, even just to do cleanups in the neighborhood. Because, when you start looking around the community, I think cleanups is just a sign of, that people care about the trash, even though the people that live here don't care about it, but somebody else outside the neighborhood cares about it. And, people are looking to get connected definitely in this neighborhood. And so just being able to build relationships with different people and organizations, the fraternities, sororities, they came out. And one of the things that I forgot to mention that was just past year is that we brought back the parade to honor our veterans in our community. And we had over 435 people in the parade. And then we ain't talking about the people that were standing on the sideline. And that's, it looked like it was the Million Man March coming down, coming from Champion to the King Arts Complex. Mm. And so, we want to continue to build, things like that to bring people back to our neighborhood, to support the local businesses. And then that's why we do what we do with the Mount Vernon Business Association.
Yeah, I agree. Others? Okay. Well, we really appreciate Tamika?
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you, Al. I know I've been in your barbershop. I've seen the mural. I've been over there doing some of the cleanups through my involvement with the Columbus Urban League and their young professionals group. So thank you for all the work you do in our community.
I appreciate it. I just thank God for the opportunity that he allowed me to get it done.
Now, Al, I hope you know who you were speaking to just now.
Yeah, Tamika Johnson.
All right, so you know some great barbecue. So if you need some barbecue for your events, so keep it in the community.
Of course, I think you related. We related down through marriage, right? Tamika.
Yeah, my husband is Mike Johnson with the Pit Barbecue Grill.
Yeah, and because they're my wife and them all cousins.
There you go. I'm telling you, keep it in the hood. Keep it in the hood. Okay. Thanks very much for taking time out of your schedule. I think this has been very informative. Yes, some of us knew some of it, but now we truly understand why the dispatch chose you over the others. And we hope that you continue to be a bright light for our neighborhood and community overall.
Okay, no, thank you very much for having me. But one thing, if you still want to work the polls, what I did is we did this QR code. I had the Secretary of State do this flyer right here.
Okay.
And on it, you can scan it because they still say they're looking for people to work the polls as we get closer to the election. And so, being a day driver for one day, like I convinced a lot of my customers to go drive, and it's $325 a day to drive for 6 hours.
Okay, there we go.
So if anybody wants to side hustle and you don't have to touch the machines, you just got to go check and make sure people are putting up the once you vote the voting the papers that shows that you were voted, and just make sure they needed whatever they need. They mainly need some stickers to say vote or just some paper. And that's all you do, just go around, drop off stuff. It's a really easy job. And so, if you know anybody want to be a poll worker, I mean, that way you can get involved with the election, just being a poll worker. I always encourage people to do that. Don't talk about it, just go make the easy money. And that's it.
Okay. So definitely vote. And then if you can, be a poll worker. And there are all kinds of options. Go on the website and find out all the things you can do. Use the QR code. Again, we'll see about putting it on our Facebook page or other social media. Okay.
Great.
Thanks very much. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me anytime.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yes.
I know.
Yep. All right.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Peace out.
Thanks.
All right. I love it. I love it. Okay. Richard and Joyce, can we have 5 minutes on the growing hearts and hands? They're still here. Unmute. Please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This last month has been fantastic for my garden. Let me start at the beginning. JD and Micah came and called us up and asked what they can do for Growing Heart in the Hands Garden. Now, they are a member of NEAC, and they are on a committee. I'm sorry, engagement. You hear my wife in the background. Community engagement, and they wanted to do something within our community. So after much conversation, we decided that we were going to have an event in October, the October Festival, the Community Festival. In the process, we helped, was given help by Julia Lynn, because she was had a large group of people who wanted to come work in her garden, but she had some other things going on. So she asked us, would we take them? And we said yes. Oh my, they were army. 14 of them showed up, and they cleaned both my gardens and shut it down for the year. It was amazing. I mean, they were highly my garden. They were wonderful. They were like an army. Bath and Body Works. Bath and Body Works corporate financial system And the amazing part, they have not worked in their office for over 3 years. So many of those who showed up, the 14, have not seen or even talked to each other for the last 2 years. So they were having a good time. It was like a party, and they just did everything that we needed them to do. In the meantime, we decided to have a flower drop last Thursday. So we partner with St. Vincent's, and the flower drop was done on the St. Vincent's parking lot on Kelton and Bryden Road. And it was more than enough space. And we had 2 trucks come, and St. Vincent's administration and staff was blown away by it. We've been talking to them about doing this several times next year, and they were very happy, and I think everyone who came to it was very, very happy. It was a very successful flower drop. In the meantime, we had our main event on Sunday, and if you weren't there, it's hard for me to tell you just how great it was. I just need a little help from my mates. Come on here, honey.
First of all, he forgot to talk about the wonderful help we got from NEAC to put together a new patio in the Legacy Garden. And it was christened actually on Sunday at the 10th anniversary of the Legacy Garden, which was started in 2012 to celebrate Columbus's bicentennial and recognize all of the good neighbors who have lived and worked on the Columbus Near East Side neighborhoods. And it was just a wonderful event. We had some actually grad students at OSU in dance and, believe it or not, agriculture, who moved here a year ago to go to grad school, but we had a connection with them. They were friends with Richard's cousin, and she said, hook up with my cousin when you go to Columbus. And they did. They joined our steering committee for the garden. They've been active all year, and they wanted to perform in the community. So they came with friends, jazz, harmonica player. They had a video team that videotaped their performances. The kids were excited. There was one 7-year-old boy who, I don't know what spirit hit him, but he decided he was going to be a dancer on Sunday. We had Transit Arts came out to do a garden mural with the community that we'll be posting in the garden for Earth Day 2023. Everybody participated in that, so it should be exciting to see it when it's hung. We had pumpkins for the kids to do their creative expressions. I saw some beautiful things done. I couldn't get back there during the event, but when I went finally at the end of the event, and I'm saying, oh. So I'll be posting some of those. Amanda's going to post some things on Facebook, and there'll be some in the newsletter. But all in all, it was a wonderful afternoon.
The weather was
Alva's
gorgeous.
House did a tremendous job. I have to give props to the men of Alva's House who have come out over the season to help us with the gardens with some of the heavy labor that we could not find any other volunteers to do, and they have been wonderful. And the culmination for me was as we were leaving Sunday afternoon, after we finished cleaning up, and one of them stood in the center of the Legacy Circle and said, I wish I could just put my bed here because I want to sleep with the community. And I just thought, wonderful, because it just spoke to the fact that the Legacy Circle has to do with the fruit of the Spirit, all those things that we want, the character traits that we want to develop in our kids: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and above all, self-control and wisdom. So for him to say that after being in prison for 14 years, think about that. He's coming out and he says he wants to be with the community. So I was just so encouraged by him, and so encouraged by the 7-year-old boy who discovered his inner dancer. Good things ahead in 2023. We're looking forward to all the development. and all the relationships with transit arts. There's a group called Global Water Dance who expressed interest in working with us. And it's a new season, Franklin Park. We're on the move and we're moving on up.
Well,
to the
thank
east
you,
side.
thank you. I know the Jefferson moving on up. Now you don't hear me
That's
sing
right.
that,
Moving
but
on up.
you know, earlier, you know, somebody said something. You know, ask Al about you know, volunteering. I think we got some experts right in our own midst that can help us with community engagement. Because just listening to you, that was just a fantastic network of organizations and individuals, each one knowing what they're supposed to do and making their contribution, that led to Sunday being such a fantastic day. And I'm sorry that I was unable to make any of the activities, but I know that there's a lot more that I have to look forward to. So any other comments or questions for the Harrises?
I loved it. I mean, I stopped by for a bit when they're dancing. They were amazing.
Yeah. So Orlando, he really enjoyed the dancing. And I know that Orlando said he's available to work with some other gardens as well. So we can, again, we got the plan, you know? And we really have to look at all the different gardens and see how we can share, because you know, I got no problem. If I got a resource, you know, you got it. You know, if I got it, you got it. But we really have to plan and we have to share. And then, yes, we do need money, but we find that we don't need as much as we thought we did when we actually bring the community, and we're much stronger than if we got a check anyway. Because we had a check, we still need somebody to help build this stuff. So really about the networking and building, you know, these community ties that I find so fascinating in what you share with us tonight. Anyone else? You got several, I love it, I love it, I love it in the comments. So there's a lot of support and appreciation from us.
Well, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So any other, thank you. Any other announcements, open discussion?
All right. East High School, they are in the playoffs, first ever postseason game at Harley Field this Friday. They're playing Benton County. And so if East High School wins Friday, they'll host a second game at Harley Field the following Friday. And then if they win that game, who knows where they'll be playing in 2 weeks. But yes, and they are one of the 3 City League North co-champions.
Okay, so East High is on a roll.
Yes, they're in a packed Division 4. They're like one of the westernmost schools that's in the playoffs in their region, which goes all the way to the river. It includes Marion Franklin and Hartley in that region as well, Division 4.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. Anything else? Any other announcements, questions, comments?
When is the next meeting?
When is the next? It is November 14th, 15th. And remember, we moved it up because of the
15th. It is the 15th.
So please, November 15th will be our next meeting. Please make a note on your calendars. It will not be the 22nd, it'll be the 15th. Okay, and we're still getting people to sign up our survey and you know, talk to the various people on the different committees about your ideas, and let's put all this together and figure out how we can implement it and come up with a calendar by December.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I did it in 3 minutes. It's that easy.
It's very easy to do. The survey is very easy to do. Anyone who hasn't done it, do it. Okay, a motion to adjourn, please.
Adjourn. But I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstentions? Thank you very much. Have a good evening and stay strong.
Good night, everyone. Great week.
Good night.
And how